Okay, welcome back, guys. So just now, there was a developer interview by designer Dave, who actually used to work on the vanilla World of Warcraft back in the day, and gave a little bit of insight to his role while he worked for Blizzard. But that's not what we want to talk about today. Today, I want to talk about all of the brand new information that has come out about Turtle WoW. Again, please go and check out designer Dave, as he's the one who conducted this interview, and all of this information came from that video. There is no particular order with the stuff that I'm about to go through, other than it was the order that it kind of was spoken about in the video itself and how I wrote it down. So nothing is going to be related to itself. But first of all, they talked about what's going to be coming in the next patch, which the first thing is going to be Hyjal as a zone. Now, I know I talked a little bit about the brand new Mount Hyjal zone, but we were still debating about what it was going to be. Well, they did confirm it is going to be a max level zone, and there's going to be a lot more to talk about with Hyjal that I wrote down, but we're going to go through this one by one. The next one is that he did say there is going to be new world quests just out in the world in the leveling areas, and the example he uses, there's going to be new leveling quests in Dunmorrow. There was another question asked about if Outland was eventually going to be added into the server. Yes, this has been talked about for a while now, at least as long as I've been playing Turtle WoW, that Outlands is planned to come out. However, it is not going to be the Burning Crusade Outlands. It is going to be more akin to the alpha version. We've all seen the videos of the alpha version of Hellfire Peninsula. They are looking to work on that, and if they expand out to the rest of the Outlands, they're going to make it look more like the alpha version rather than the TBC version. They talked a little bit also on Paladins, and they're going to be tweaked for better PvP survivability. However, in PvE, Paladins are not going to be touched as much. That's really the only class that they talked about, so we're going to keep going on from the Paladins. Now, if you watch my content, you know Gilneas is going to be also a brand new zone coming into the next patch. They didn't quite talk about the zone itself, however, they did confirm that Gilneas City will be a dungeon, a 5-man dungeon. Speaking of 5-man dungeon, Black Morass will be returning next patch. If you didn't already know, Black Morass was actually already in the game as a custom dungeon. However, there were some issues in the dungeon itself which caused it to be shut down. It looks like they've been working on it, and it's planned to be released back into the game in the next patch. Now, let's go back to Hyjal for a moment. With the new Emerald Dream raid, which I've also talked about in a previous video, it looks like there's going to be a requirement of an attunement in order to be entered in. Just like all of the other raids in Vanilla World of Warcraft, such as Blackwing Lair and Onyxia's Lair. And that quest to attune yourself to the Emerald Dream will involve you going to Mount Hyjal. They didn't exactly say what it is you're going to be doing, other than that's where you're going to be going to do it. Somebody then asked the team if they planned on making a Baal Modan or a Grim Batol dungeon. Now, there's no plans on that just yet, but it's very possible to be added in the future, as they like that idea. The question of player housing was also asked, and nothing is planned at the moment. However, they were talking about it, and if it ever was to happen, player housing will have to be instanced due to the lack of room in the world for every single player to be able to get a house. Whether it's going to be Final Fantasy XIV or RuneScape-ish, it's still up to debate if it's ever going to happen in the first place. Of course, AI voice acting was asked, as that seems to be the hot topic in the World of Warcraft community, whether it's retail or private servers. As of right now, it is not going to be implemented at this moment. However, they really do like the idea if it was tweaked a little bit. One of the examples is how it won't work for certain races, being the trolls, how they have a particular accent and the mod won't account for them having that particular accent. And not only that, you might get somebody like Thrall with that very deep Chris Metzen voice, who suddenly sounds like Average Joe. The next question that was asked was if there were going to be new races added. The example brought up were Ogres and the Broken. As of right now, they do not plan for any new races to be added into Turtle WoW, and it's more of a lack of time in developing it rather than wanting to do it. Because if you were to add races such as the Ogre, you would have to make it so they can wear player armor, and that just takes time out of their development from other things. They currently right now do not have any plans to add a neutral version of the game, being like you cannot play as a neutral player, even through reputation systems to allow you to gain reputation from the opposite faction and become true neutral, or to become hostile with both and basically become an outlaw. So there's no plans for that. One more time, going back to Hyjal, while Hyjal will give you the attunement quest needed to enter the Emerald Dream raid, it will also have quest lines that will reward you with pre-raid gear. Of course, nothing of raid quality itself, as you actually have to do the raids in order to get that type of gear, but it will give you some pretty good level 60 gear to get you started into the end game. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about is that they did confirm eventually, not in the next patch, but eventually there will be a new profession. Now, I don't think Turtle Wow has anything in terms of new professions other than the survival and kind of the gardening. I wouldn't really consider gardening to be a profession other than a side thing you can do. The survival profession is kind of fun, but it really lacks a lot of things. Really, people only use it to make the tents for experience. There's a lot of fun stuff in there, but I feel like it needs to be developed a lot more. Though, with this new profession, we don't know what it is or what it's going to entail, other than he said he's been working on it for a long time and he's very excited for it to eventually come into the game. So we'll have to keep a lookout for that. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Again, please check out Designer Dave. Thank him for this awesome interview with the Turtle Wow devs. And if you want to see more information, more news, gameplay of Turtle Wow and other private servers such as Project Epoch, Azeroth at War, I'm going to be checking out Wallcraft again pretty soon here, Dusk Haven, and all these other private servers. You can like the video, subscribe, and I will see you next time.